Well, how you do, Buckaroos, and how the heck are you? So I've been working through some Oktoberfest. Actually, I had the Firestone Walker Oktoberfest earlier. This one is a lot darker in color. Meant to be a traditional Oktoberfest, 5.5%, 14 IBUs from Core Brewing. Their Leghound lager that they brew year round. There, it is a very popular style in Northwest Arkansas. The nose is very nice. It is what you want from this style. Brilliant toasted malt, a little nutty. Although it could be my sniffer could be off. I'm kind of getting faint hits caramel, which really shouldn't be in this style, but that could be my sniffer and knockdown. Yeah, not bad. Again, maybe my maybe my palate's off now. Yeah, I am getting some big toasted malt. I'm getting some nutty like notes as well. I'm also feeling some almost toffee like notes that really shouldn't be in this style. Well, not traditionally anyway. Maybe that might be what they intend on. So here's the thing. I mean, it's not necessarily that they're off flavors because it kind of works with the beer. But if they're intending it to be a traditional Oktoberfest, it's not quite there. But you know, so I hesitate to call it a flaw because it tastes good. You know, I mean, it doesn't taste like a flaw. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily off, but it is not necessarily typical for the style either. Depends on how you want to interpret that. It is a little, again, it's a little darker. The malt body is feels a little deeper as well, but I am getting right near the end. I'm getting almost those buttery toffee like notes, which really, if again, if it's meant to be a traditional Oktoberfest, really shouldn't be there. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's a flaw. I mean, if the beer tastes good, it tastes good, right? Yeah, I don't know. I try not to take stuff too seriously. I drink what's good. Uh, but again, I mean, hmm, I'm perplexed. Then again, I had an Oktoberfest earlier today. Oh, about 30 minutes ago. I finished an APA, so I mean, it's been 30 minutes since I had a beer, but so you know, it is quite possible. It's quite possible. I'm going to admit that anybody. I'm going to admit that that I'm human and and I'm not perfect. I think that's the problem with watching some beer reviewers. They want to act like everything they say is the gospel truth. Hell, it's just your opinion, man. Yeah, so again, I want to admit that it could be me. My taster could be off. It could be the bottle. It could be a lot of things. I still would recommend to folks to try it once before. Don't take my word for it. I don't hate what they're doing here. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it, but I don't find it quite true to style. How about that? Can I say that? Can I enjoy it and feel it's not true to style? Although I want to remember, I was going to say quote, but I think I'm more paraphrasing. One of my beer friends and one of the best beer writers out there, the Brew Guru, it says, you can a beer can be flawed, or you can. I don't know if flawed is the right word, but beer can be flawed stylistically, but you can still enjoy it hedonistically. So I think that's what I'm doing with this one. I think as the style as a traditional Oktoberfest, what I'm tasting isn't quite what I feel a traditional Oktoberfest is. But having said all that, I do find the beer enjoyable. How about that? How about that? Can we do that, people? Can we all just get along? Anyways, I pointed this out in other videos, but I feel the need to do it every time for some reason. It's a puzzle behind me. I guess there's a glare on it because my ceiling fan's on. I had to have the light. Uh, my daughter actually made that for me. She made the puzzle and then kind of mounted it for me. And then there's, she did that Snoopy there too as well. Seamus made that wreath when he was in fifth grade, so it stays up year round. Hey, I know it's a little kitsch, but that's kind of the way we hang at the Beer Whisper House. I have no interest. I have no interest at all in being trendy. I never had. I've always kind of done my own thing. Even as a teenager, even in junior high and high school, I never did what everybody else was doing. I always had my own look, my own style. Seamus was the same way though too. He invented his style. And now I see other kids start doing it too. But he invented the style. I know he invented the style because I never saw it before him. Seamus started wearing hats, fedoras, and of the like when he was about 4 or 5 years old. But he kind of carried on with it as he became a teenager. So we started doing the style, but he was most comfortable because of his size. He was rather large, maybe not the most coordinated kid. He was tall for his age, and uh, so it was most comfortable for him to wear basketball shorts. So he had this look where he wore basketball shorts and sneakers, but he would typically wear a decent polo shirt and he'd have a hat. So it was like kind of like in the spirit of a mullet, business up top, casual on the bottom. So anyway, but then it was funny is I used to pick him up from school there after he started doing that, and all of a sudden I see other kids. It's a shame to say, take a look, man. And now it's funny every time I see a kid dressed like that, wearing the basketball shorts and a nice shirt and a hat. I'm like, oh man, that was my son. He never got credit for that, but that was Seamus's look, man. Anyways, I digress. So yeah, out of Northwest Arkansas. I believe they started in Springdale. They've since branched out to a lot of places. They're in Rogers. I believe they're in Little Rock as well. So if you get a chance to try them, do so. Hey, I'm Dr. Beer Whisper. We'll talk to you later.